Hi loves, welcome back for another video, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite products from basically the entire summer season with you. And I really like doing these videos basically like once a quarter, once a season, just to share some of the products that I've been loving with you guys and just really share the love for things that have been bringing joy to my life. So this video will probably be long. They tend to be long because I tend to ramble about things that I love. So make sure to go grab a cup of coffee or a snack or something and settle in to hang out for a little bit and chat. I'm going to start off with some beauty products. In the summertime, I really keep things pretty simple, especially for work. I honestly have not been wearing makeup most days and I've just been like chilling, which I feel like is a good break for my skin, and things tend to be like, you know, a little clearer and everything in the summer, and it's hot, so I like sweat off any makeup that I'm wearing anyway. It's too much work. But for when I have been wearing makeup, of course, I'm using brushes and getting them all full of product, so I need to clean those brushes. And something that I've been loving lately for that is this little guy right here. This is a brush egg, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure I got this off of Amazon, so I will go ahead and link it for you guys if I can find it or something similar. But basically, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I feel like it's kind of washed out by my light. Actually, no, there you go. So it has these little like different surfaces so that when you're washing the brush, you can kind of push it against this, and it's almost like a washboard for your brushes. So it's super cool, super useful, and makes washing brushes so much easier. I used to always just use my hands, and hopefully I'm in focus again, fingers crossed, but I used to just, you know, kind of brush my brushes over my hands and like try to use that, but this really gets in there. It makes it so much easier and quicker to wash my brushes, and this thing makes me actually want to wash them often, which I'll be honest, it was a rare occasion before I had a tool to use. I know there's also like full-on ones that you can put like way over your hand, so I might have to upgrade to something like that in the near future, but for now, this is doing the job. It's pretty easy to use and easy to clean and everything, so I'm obsessed. Next up for beauty, I have a moisturizer to share with you guys. This is one that is no stranger to YouTube. It's how I knew that it was a thing and that I should try it. So this is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. This is a little sample size that I kind of just like impulse bought the last time I was in Sephora, and I honestly have no regrets. This is definitely a very heavy product. I only use maybe about like that much for my entire face, but it's just super moisturizing. It's a really nice texture, and I feel like it's doing such great things for my skin. I'm a huge fan of this. I really now want to try more products from First Aid Beauty. I'm wondering if they have kind of a more like oily skin friendly moisturizer, because this is really nice, but it is really thick, and I tend to like, you know, kind of lighter moisturizers since my skin is oily, so I definitely want to try some other products from First Aid Beauty. Let me know in a comment if you have any recommendations, or just any recommendations for oily skin in general, because I'm always looking to try new products and seeing kind of if I can find anything that's a better fit for my skin. Moving on into some fashion favorites, my first one is actually a purse. This is, I think, like the smallest Longchamp purse that you can get. Ken bought it for me, I believe for my birthday or maybe Valentine's Day this year. Super sweet of him. I honestly still am kind of shook by it because I'm just not much of a like fancy like designer kind of girl, which I'm sure is obvious if you guys have watched my channel before. I love my drugstore products, you know, like I don't splurge on a lot as long as I can get by with it. But this purse has honestly been so amazing. I've used it to travel this summer. I love using it to kind of like run out to happy hour or something after work instead of bringing my whole backpack that I usually bring to work. It just fits so much more than you would expect it to, and I also really love that I can fold it up. So let me go ahead and take the things in here really quick out so that I can show you guys, but it's just so cool to me because when you're not using the purse, like say you want to travel with it but you don't necessarily want to carry it, you can just take it, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys this okay. So you like fold the bottom, go ahead and just fold it in like that, and then in again like a little envelope action, and then this little flap comes right over, and sorry this is hard to do this way, I usually lay it flat, and then it just snaps, and it's this cute little thing that you can just shove in a suitcase, or I keep this in my backpack for work, and then if I need a purse to run out to lunch with or whatever, I just, you know, unsnap it, throw everything in there, and I'm ready to go. So this is definitely a great little purse, and I highly recommend. You know, I've only had it for less than a year, but it's really held up super well. It's really easy to clean if anything gets on it because of the material. I want to say this is like weatherproof too, because I've carried it in the rain and everything inside it was fine. So it's awesome. I highly recommend this purse if you guys are looking for something that's classic and can hold a ton of stuff, because even this small size is awesome and I love it. My next fashion favorite is kind of a weird and random one, but I absolutely have to share with you guys because it's been saving my life this summer. So these are some little silicone, I guess you could call them like breast pedals, or you know, like a sticky bra sort of, but they're just these little silicone cups, and these work so amazingly well. I'm honestly shook by them. I had a sticky bra that I used all through last summer, and it really held up well for me, just for tops that, you know, kind of have like an open back or something and you don't want a bra showing. It just really worked super well, but then it was slowly getting less sticky because I'd worn it so many times. So I picked these up on a whim from Rite Aid, and I just cannot believe how well these stay on. It's absolutely amazing. I'm not sure what the brand is, but I'll find it and link it down below for you guys, and all the things that I'm talking about down below if you want to check them out. But these are just amazing. Like, no matter how like hot I am or anything, they still stay in place and, you know, really just do the job. Obviously they're not adding much to my chest because they're so small, but they do what they need to do. They keep the shape kind of in check, if you catch my drift. So I'm a huge fan of these. They're also really easy to clean. You just basically use some soap and water and then lay them out to dry, and they're great. So I highly recommend that you guys check these out if you're needing just kind of a solution to those tops that have like an interesting kind of like lower cut or an open back or something that you can't wear a normal bra with. I absolutely love these, and honestly probably need to get a couple more so that next summer I can just wear them all the time because they're so comfortable and so easy, and I cannot believe that I didn't have them in my life sooner. Next up, I have a few more lifestyle favorites for you guys. The first one is this little reusable cold cup from Starbucks, and honestly you can get tumblers just about anywhere, but what I love so much about this one is it's like super lightweight, so it's easy to kind of just like throw in my bag if I know I'm probably going to go to Starbucks, and then, you know, I can have a reusable cup. I don't have to waste more plastic, which is nice. And then this is also really easy to make my own coffee at home in, and I love that it's such a tall, like basically a venti size, so I can fill plenty of coffee in here, more than I probably need. Usually if I drink this whole thing in the morning, I'm like hype and ready to get my work done for the day. So, but this cup has been really great. It does kind of get the whole like condensation action like pretty easily because it's so thin, but I'm really used to that anyway, because if you get a normal cold cup from Starbucks, that's just kind of part of it and you just have to use a coaster or something. So I don't mind doing that for this, and I've just really been loving it and kind of want to pick up a couple more because they're just so easy to work with, and you can like throw them in the dishwasher, and you know, it's just an easy way to be a little more eco-friendly and not be using single-use plastic as much. Going along with that cup, one of my absolute favorite things to use to make my own coffee at home is this wonderful cold brew from Trader Joe's. It's like very condensated right now. Is that a word? Condensated? It's got a lot of condensation on it because I took it out of the fridge before I started filming this. But yeah, it's amazing. This one actually isn't even open yet, but it is ready to go for work tomorrow morning, and I'm already excited to drink it, to be honest. It is pretty strong since it's a cold brew, but basically I will just kind of fill my cup with ice, pour this over it, and add a little bit of creamer just to kind of like, not necessarily water it down, but like take it down a notch and add a little bit of sweetness, but not too much. It's just such a great balance. This is such a good coffee, and I just love, you know, getting going for the day with a coffee. And in the summer, it's definitely essential to have iced coffee because it's just a little too hot to be walking around with like a to-go tumbler. I mean, if I'm in like a hot coffee mood, then that's cool, but I feel like in the summer, most of the time I want to reach for cold coffee. So this has definitely been one of my absolute go-tos this summer. I love this stuff. And then also the classic, just like black Starbucks iced coffee that you can pick up at like your local grocery store or Target or something is also really great. It just kind of depends on where I'm doing my grocery shopping for the week, but I've definitely bought so many bottles of this summer, and honestly will probably continue to even as it gets cold outside, because sometimes you just want some iced coffee, you know? And then the rest of my favorites for you guys are actually some less tangible things, so I'll just kind of talk through them, link what I can, and you know, just share some thoughts. So the first one is actually a book, and I wish I had a physical copy to show for you guys. I love this book so much that I might end up going to buy a physical copy, but I did read it on my Nook as an ebook, and I absolutely love my Nook. Just like kind of a side tangent, definitely recommend that you guys pick up an e-reader if you love reading, because it's such an easy way to get a bunch of books in one place, and you know, it's just so nice and convenient for like commuting and stuff, because you're not carrying a heavy book in your bag. So love my Nook. But anyway, back to my favorite book of the summer, which was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, or McQuinston, I think is how you say her name. I'm probably butchering it, but I will have it linked below so you guys can check it out. It is a absolutely beautifully written book. I honestly read it twice within a week. And it's been a long time since a book sucked me into that level. Like, I tend to, when I read fiction books, I just get really into them and I finish them pretty quickly, but like this book is just on a whole nother level. I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you aren't an avid reader, if you love a good like love story, but one that isn't necessarily just like jumping straight into it, it's like very much a slow burn kind of story. I don't want to give too much away, but basically the plot, I mean, this is on the back of the book, is that the son of the President of the United States falls in love with the Prince of England. So it's just, there's so many layers to it. All of the characters feel so real, and I just love them all so much. And I could honestly gush about this book for hours, but you guys really just need to read it, I promise. It's so beautifully written. It's hysterical and just very modern. You know, like there's some stuff that happens with like Twitter and like just leaked emails, and it's all so just relevant, and it's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. And Casey is currently working on her second book, and I honestly cannot wait for when she releases it so that I can read more of her work, because it's just so beautiful and honestly one of my favorite books of all time, and I just can't wait to continue to cherish it for years to come. I also know that they have a deal with Amazon to hopefully turn it into a film, and I am ready to watch that and cry in a couple years when they finish it. It's just gonna be so good. And I need to stop talking about this book, because I honestly could do an entire video about how much I love this book, and you know, like the different details and getting really into it. Like once some of you guys have read it, or if you have read it, let me know, because you know, we can like go back and forth and fangirl about how awesome it is. So yeah, I need to stop talking about it, but I love this book so much, and I just can't recommend it enough. Please go check it out. If you look at one thing from this video, make it this book. It's incredible. If you guys have been watching me for a little bit now, you probably know that I am a big podcast gal. I have kind of a long commute to work, so as much as I love listening to music and reading, sometimes you just need a change of pace, and listening to a podcast is such a great way to pass the time. And I love so much that there's just basically a podcast for everyone and about every topic, so you can really kind of search what's out there and find something that you will love. So as of lately, one of my favorite podcasts has been the Influencer Podcast with Julie Solomon. This is not the first time I've mentioned this podcast on my channel. It's probably the third or fourth time that I've talked about it, but it is just such a quality podcast. She has such amazing guests on, and they have such interesting conversations about everything related to social media and this industry, and you know, the ways it's constantly changing and how different people have started out their careers. And I feel like I always walk away from listening to this podcast feeling inspired and having learned new things. And I've learned about so many resources that I use all the time now for my channel and, you know, my social media and all of that stuff. So if you guys are also kind of like social media influencer, like industry nerds like I am, you'll probably really enjoy this podcast. Julie is also just such a like positive and just smart like person, and I don't know, I could listen to her talk about pretty much anything, but I think she does such an incredible job with her interviews and really just asks great questions and does such a good job kind of keeping the conversation going naturally. So I absolutely love this podcast and cannot recommend it enough. And last but not least, as I love to do in every single favorites video that I post on my channel, I want to share my favorite YouTuber as of lately with you guys. And I definitely watched a ton of YouTube in general this summer, and there are lots of YouTubers who I love, but one that I have been binge watching lately since I discovered her is Alison Bickerstaff, and she is an absolutely adorable human being. I'm obsessed. She is another somewhat Disney YouTuber, not full on like DCP, that whole thing, but she does work with Disney part-time doing social media, and she lives in Orlando, so it's really interesting watching her. It like makes me homesick in the best way. For those of you who might be new here, I'm from Central Florida originally, so as much as I love where I live now, which is kind of the DC metro area, I live in Northern Virginia and I work in DC. I love it here so much, but I do miss Florida sometimes. It's a really beautiful place, and you know, there's a lot of cool things about where I grew up, so it's neat to kind of see her perspective and her life in the area. And also she's just such a positive person and really like works hard on the aesthetic of her videos, like, and she has this really calming voice, and I don't know, I just love every single video that I've watched from her, and it's just such positive, happy content. And also she's recently married, and her husband are so cute. Such a cute couple, so pure. I love it. So if you can't tell, I've really been loving her channel and her videos and everything lately. She also has an absolutely beautiful Instagram feed. I'm kind of shook by anyone who can keep a true theme going, because it's just not a thing I'm good at doing. As much as I try, I do enjoy my Instagram, but I feel like that pressure to like have everything be aesthetic is like too much sometimes. So I really commend anyone who can keep up with that, and she's definitely one of those people. Anyway, if you guys haven't watched Alison yet, I definitely recommend checking out her channel, and I'll have it linked down below. All right guys, those were all of the favorites that I wanted to share with you in this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble for this long. I had a lot of fun filming this video, so I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe right down below if you're new here. I would love to have you stick around and join the Curly Hair Love fam. If you have tried out any of these products or are interested in trying anything out now that I've talked about it, make sure to leave a comment down below and tell me. I'd also really love to hear if you guys have any recommendations for me, because I'm literally always looking to try new things. You never know where your next favorite will come from, so I'd absolutely love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and just being so supportive. I feel like my videos lately, now that I'm getting back into the swing of things, have been going pretty well, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm stoked to be back and just like hanging out with you guys every week and posting hopefully great content for you. So as always, if you have any requests, make sure to let me know down below, and without further ado and rambling, I'm going to go ahead and go now. But thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I love you so much, and can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.
Turn that shit up.